Before we get started, I want to give a quick thank you to this episode's sponsor, Soundacres, ran by Gary Cioni. Soundacres is a recording studio based in New Jersey, just 30 minutes away from Philadelphia. Gary's been a part of many influential bands, including Crime and Stereo, Day Trader, and Nex. On top of that, has recorded for the likes of Free Throw, Pop Mulligan, and so much more. Make sure to check out Soundacres' social media down below, and let's make the album of your dreams.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Nick, your host of On the Scene with Martini. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget, you are the scene.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Nick, Honestly with Martini. Today I got Bob from Braid and Hey Mercedes. How you doing today, Bob?
I'm doing excellent. How are you, Nick?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks for asking me.
It was a long time coming with me going to Europe, you going to Japan. It's schedules never aligned, but it finally did at a beautiful Wednesday night.
For sure. And it was a beautiful Wednesday here in Chicago, where I am.
Is it cold or?
No, it was really nice out today. It was like high 60s
Oh, lovely. Yeah, it's we're
and
hitting
sunny.
like that low 60s, like that spring weather. Just nothing's better than putting on your headphones and taking a nice walk.
I agree. I agree.
So just like how I always get started, just everyone has like their own different like background and how they got into music, and you having such a diverse taste of music, which we'll dive into a little later.
Mhm.
Just kind of want to get like your backstory on like how you got into music, like just from like kind of like the start, and then we'll go from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Pretty much from the very beginning I was into music. Like my parents talked about how my first words were like singing, like I was singing. Um, I responded to music like pretty much instantly. Um, my parents aren't weren't big music fans, but it was more, but they recognized my just instant sort of like attraction to it, and then sort of helped foster that along the way by getting me records and tapes and things like that. And we also had a neighbor down the street who was my best friend at the time. You know, we were kids, but his family was very into music and they had a jukebox in their basement. So I got exposed to a lot of music very, very early, and I was a sponge. I wanted to hear all of it. When I was, I mean, I was must have been five or six. I would listen to the top 40 on Sundays. They had on the radio the top 40 Casey Kasem, and I would write down all 40 songs, and then I would start making my own top 40. Like I loved it from the very beginning. And then so at that point in time it was kind of just top 40 what was on the radio. My friend's family liked a little more classic rock, like Rolling Stones and Beatles and stuff like that. So I got a good dose of that. Um, and then, you know, I'm gonna be 51 in a few months. So this now was right around the time when MTV came around, and my friend down the street got MTV first, got cable first. So, that just was right up my alley. So I just wanted to watch MTV all the time. Got into like I, I suppose the question more about like how I got into music or
Yeah,
how I got into playing music.
honestly, either to be, it's kind of I try to keep it
Because
very
like,
broad in general, but
okay, good.
yeah. So
I don't want to
where you're
ramble on.
no, please do because
Okay.
I don't really try to write down too many talking points. I kind of just try to keep it nice and raw, and
Hmm.
wherever you go, I'll go from there, kind of thing.
Got it. Yeah, well, when MTV came around and was became sort of ubiquitous for me in the mid 80s, um, then that was like all I wanted to consume. But again, it eventually became a little more like hair metal. I was sort of getting into like metal. Maybe it was just sort of me being a little bit rebellious of a kid. and wanting to maybe go against some of the more like softer sort of pop rock and stuff. I was into more of the metal of heavy metal, and then when I was old enough to start going to shows, I remember I used to keep track of all the shows. I keep track of everything. So I used to keep track of all the shows I went to. So at like age 14, I was going to see metal bands in Chicago when they would come through. And you go see these metal bands and they look amazing, quote unquote, but
Yeah.
they look done up. They care a lot about how they look. The vocalist is usually just operatic, like 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 just insane pipes. The guitar player is going to bust out crazy, crazy solos. Like this is like unavailable to me. And watching
Hmm.
those bands never made me want to be in a band because it was just like this is too much. I would never do this. I'd be uncomfortable. Through metal, I started listening to maybe some hardcore. Then it eventually got to punk, and then it eventually got to like the local punk scene in Chicago and in the Chicago suburbs, where I eventually ended up when I was in high school. And then it was when I started seeing smaller bands come through, whether they're bands coming through on tour or just local people, kind of maybe a little bit older than me playing shows, where that was when I was like, I actually could do this. And I felt more comfortable being able to like pick up a guitar or at that time drums and play for people because these people were just like me. They were not crazy virtuosos on their instruments. They sang, you know, sloppily a little bit, but just
Yeah.
but still had the passion and it was still music I was really drawn to. But I thought I could do that.
For just the and that was a good answer for. So I try to keep, like I
Ah,
said, I try to keep it broad, but that you exactly hit where I wanted to go with it.
cool.
Um, just to start from the beginning about how like you were talking about your parents weren't like huge music people, but
No,
you had that friend down the street. Do you feel like
no.
if you didn't have that friend that like exposed you, do you still would have been to where you are now, like from your musical taste or getting into it, or you think it would have been a little bit more difficult for you?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that I would have been just as passionate about music because it was even before like I understood social interactions with
Yeah,
people or whatever, um, that I liked it. And so I think that my parents would have still done their best to sort of foster my interests in that way. But definitely having that friend on the street because they're the his family loved like Rolling Stones, Elvis, disco at the time. Um, that definitely broadened my interest. But yeah, I would have, you know, I would have gone down basically the same path, I think, without them.
fair enough. When you were younger too, like going to shows, when you say like smaller bands like coming into tour and stuff,
Yeah.
in comparison to like the other like bigger, more glamorous metal shows that you've probably attended,
Yeah.
when like seeing like those smaller shows, are those bands like, um, I'm trying to think like hardcore bands like that we would like not like like Fugazi, but like kind of bands like that, like
Yeah.
that, or is it more like just really local
No,
Chicago?
it was, I mean, Fugazi was one of these bands that I saw on my 15th birthday. And I've told the story before because during this show, the show was incredible. Um,
That must have
and
been wild to see them.
yeah, and during the show, they brought people on stage to play their instruments for a little bit. And I was just like, what is that? Like, I didn't, you know, Tesla didn't do this or Great White didn't do, whoever I was seeing. But like, so I mean, they literally made me be like, I can do that. I want to do that. But yeah, no, that well, there was a venue in Elmhurst, Illinois, which is like a suburb near where my family eventually moved. I grew up in the city, but we moved to the suburbs when I was in high school. Um, and this venue was called McGregor's. And every Sunday night, they had an all ages show. And every Sunday night, my friends and I went. the one of the first ones we went to was Green. It was Green Day. It was Green Day, Sludgeworth, um, the Effigies or something like that. Green Day wasn't headlining. They were a touring band that was just opening the show, and there were not a lot of people there. And
That's wild.
I remember like them getting on stage and having to be like, hey, getting people to come
Yeah.
to the stage because everyone was sort of like mulling around. I remember like my friends and I, okay, we went up to the stage. We were blown away. They were awesome. They were fucking awesome. And so we left that show and there were maybe 50 people there, maybe. Everyone left that show being like, this band is the best. This is the best band I've ever seen. Um, and so then next time Green Day came through and they played McGregor's, it was like totally sold out. But no, it was bands like Green Day, Screeching Weasel, Sludgeworth, but any band that came through, we would go see. So NoFX came. These were not big shows.
Hmm.
NoFX, Offspring, Clutch, like all these bands I saw play at this place McGregor's, and so these were bands that eventually would become bigger, but they always had local openers, and sometimes a few times my band would open, like Sam Am came through, and my band opened for them, and Jawbreaker came through, and you know that it was that venue was very, very important to me and a lot of people.
Was that like your first band then at that point, like opening for on the Sundays?
Um,
Because that's pretty impressive. If
no,
that was like one of your first bands,
it
even
was
so, like opening for
it.
Jawbreaker and those kind
Well,
of
we
those
didn't open
level.
for, yeah, yeah. No, we did open for Starbreaker at a different place. But
Okay.
no, it was my first bands. My first band was called Slap Happy and I played drums and I don't know, we were just trying to do it. We were like trying to be kind of ska. We were just messing around. But then the band I was in after that was called Friction and I played drums and sang. And that was the band that like got we had a record come out on this label called Allied, um, that was pretty established, and I don't recall how we swung that, but so we were on a comp with Jawbreaker, and then we actually went on tour, and I was this is when I was 16,
That's wild.
16 or 17, that band. So that was like the first serious band I was in.
And you were playing drums and singing in that band?
Yeah, yeah.
That must have been difficult.
Kind of, kind of. It was at the time I was playing drums. Like I wanted to, that was my instrument of choice. That was when I played. But like I also liked singing and I was the only one, and I also liked writing lyrics. And so in this particular band, Friction, like they just weren't as comfortable singing, but I was singing and we'll just do it. So like on record, it sounds normal, it sounds fine, but shows were a little difficult. Not really for me. Like I could play drums and sing, but it just probably wasn't the best uh, live experience for people to watch
Yeah.
because I'm kind of hiding in the back. Yeah.
So like when you were, what made you transition then from drums to like current, just being like that front man, guitar, singing?
Yeah. Um, I went to college, so like in high school I was in this band Friction. I played drums. When I went to college in Champaign-Urbana in '93, I didn't want to bring my drums. The thing with like going to school there is you had to live in the dorms for your first 2 years, and so it's not like I had a basement really. I didn't have a real space for the drums. So I had a junky guitar that like the friend's dad had just like kind of given me. So I was just sort of messing around with it, and so I thought, well, I'll just try to play guitar. And I still wanted to sing. And it just so happened that basically the first person I met in Champaign-Urbana was a drummer, Roy Ewing, who was the original drummer of Braid. So immediately we started playing. I mean, this I you know came down there probably in August of '93. We played our first show in December of '93, Braid.
When, so from there then you kind of, that's wild. So like you guys were like in essence like a college band at that point. Like you guys were friends playing, but
Yeah.
Was it ever meant to be as serious as it became? Like putting out 6 records, still being on a major label, working with Polyvinyl, still going on these crazy tours and stuff.
It wasn't really for that first year. Because that first year, um, I was still in Friction. Friction was still active. Um, and then sort of halfway-ish through that year, um, Friction became not active. It wasn't until the second year, so that would have been, 1994, the beginning of 90, or the middle of 94, when Chris Broach came down to Champaign. Chris of Braid, he's a year younger than I am. And so the first year we had a different guitar player. Um, this guy Pete, who was a friend of mine from Chicago, and then Todd and Roy were from the Champaign area. And I I don't think I was very confident in the band that first year. I loved playing and it was fun, but like I think I was just, well, Friction's my main gig here. Um, but I think when Chris joined uh that next year is when we started to take it a little more seriously. And then it became the thing that we just wanted to do constantly.
Not being like super confident, like transitioning from Friction to Braid. What made you want to do that? Like, was there any like factors that kind of came into the ending of Friction, or was it kind of just like fizzling out since starting in high school? You guys might have kind of went your separate ways to that degree.
It was fizzling out in that I went to Champaign, our guitar player went to the University of Michigan. Like we just weren't in the same place. Um, and I think we just, I don't know, yeah, wanted to just kind of do our own things. I don't know, at the time I really just needed to play music constantly. And so if Friction, yeah, I wasn't able to do that, then it was Braid. It had to be Braid.
For Braid, what was like the first tour that you guys like remembered being like super influential for your band and giving you that confidence boost that you
Mm,
might have needed?
mm. Um,
Or
we
show?
Well, you know what it was. I'll say we did go on some tours pretty early on. I did some touring with Friction, and so I had made some contacts, from basically here to Florida and back, so that we were able to book a tour, using those contacts, and it was fine. You know what I think what really made me feel good. Obviously, playing in general, it just getting up there and playing and practicing, but also like playing shows was important. But like the Fireside Bowl was I think really part of my whole getting comfortable. And we were almost like the house band at Fireside Bowl. We played there so much. So just playing as much as possible, and then yeah, like being consistent, as well, like so that people could see us and then come back and see us again. And yeah.
Did you find it difficult then to transition? Obviously, still having, well, with your brands now, like with Braid and like Hey Mercedes, like you guys like share vocals. It's not just you solely doing them,
Hmm.
but with Friction being, um, you're still like the main vocalist, but in the back, did
Yeah.
you find it difficult to transition to having the guitar role and singing with
Not,
Braid?
no, not really. I didn't have any problem with being like a quote unquote front person. I didn't have any problem with singing. I think it was more my guitar playing that just I knew I was a complete amateur. I
Hmm.
didn't really, I was, I learned some chords from a book that I got from the library, but I think in general, I was just trying to emulate Ian MacKaye from Fugazi, and there was a guy, Kevin Frank from this band Gage. Like I just wanted to sound like they sounded, which is why I played an SG through a Marshall, like,
Yeah.
and I still play that SG. But this their sound and the way they played weren't were just so unique, but also not like too complex.
Hmm.
Unique, but not, and so that's what definitely was like my I want to say my style, but that's giving it a little too much credit, I think. But yeah, the that was I think where I lacked confidence the most.
Jumping around a little bit, and definitely want to come back to like with like framing canvas and like your
Yeah,
split and stuff that you put out. But you have a series on your Instagram, and I see that you reference Fugazi a good bit, and I know that
yeah,
you had Repeater, right,
yeah,
on for Cats and Vinyl.
yeah.
What what allowed you to also one of the records that you put there is one of my favorite records of all time.
Jawbreaker? No.
No, no. What do you think it is?
Um,
I'll give you a guess or
well,
two.
yeah, one of your favorite records of all time, probably.
I'll give you a hint. It's
Okay.
not hardcore.
Um, it's not Lemonheads. It's a shame about Ray, is it? Okay,
Mm-mm.
because that's one of my favorite
I do
records.
like that record though.
It's not Led Zeppelin, is it?
No, it's Japanese Breakfast Jubilee.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's the
I'm
first
from
one I did.
yeah, I'm from Philly. So
Okay.
I feel like she really got me into the indie music scene, and that
Yeah.
record is perfect.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
that record is beautiful. But I was wondering too, like you have Fugazi, you have Seven
Hmm.
Seconds, you have
Yeah.
Zeppelin, you have Jay Brecky, like
Yeah.
all these different artists. What what how did you I'm trying to think of the way to say it. How did you develop that eclectic of a taste while you were mainly in like those hardcore, post-hardcore bands?
Well, the Cats and Vinyl thing is sort of a bit of a extension of like the idea that I only want to own records that mean something to me. Um, and it's also becoming more important to me to have physical media again. I had it when I was for forever, right? I had tons of CDs, tons of records. Eventually got rid of most of them. Um, Now I'm bringing them back because just I feel like streaming is has become just not as satisfying as it was. And this is speaking just as a listener, right? Like I could go on, we can go on forever about like how they're shitty to artists as well. But like
Yeah.
as a consumer, so to speak, I just I'm unsatisfied with it, and the fact that like there are going to be people that don't put their stuff on streaming because of issues they have with certain providers or like AI
Mhm.
being able exposing their music to like AI things. Um, so I thought it was very important to get to own the records of thing of that means something to me. So with this cats and vinyl thing, I just wanted to. I took my entire record collection, which was in a list because I keep track of everything,
Of course.
and I randomized it. And then we're going through the whole thing, but just in a random order, right? It's not alphabetical or anything like that. So there's like about 300 of them at the moment, and I'm still getting more. But you know, so the sort of eclectic um variety of the first 30 is a random coincidence.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So because it's a random order, you're going to get a bunch of different genres. But like, uh they almost represent different time periods in my life in a way, right? Like so the Led Zeppelin record I liked when I was in grade school. I When I was into hair metal, I got into Led Zeppelin, I got into Pink Floyd. And so I own a few of those records to this day that I really truly enjoy. Uh, partly maybe because they take me to that time in my life and just of really getting into that music and appreciating that music.
Hmm.
Something like the Lemonheads um, was like this. I guess what 92, 93, like my late high school years when um, it was like the alternative sort of era, like Nirvana, but like Lemonheads and um, Pixies, things like that. that's just another era of music that really spoke to me, right? So I've got records that represent that era. And then something like Japanese Breakfast Jubilee or all of the newer ones I have. There was a Dirt Buyer that came out this year. Um, I've been for the past 10, maybe like 15 years actually, been really um, hyper aware of new music that's coming out. So every Friday, I listen to a bunch of new music. So for instance, that Japanese Breakfast album came out, I believe in 2021 or
It's 21. Yep.
okay, because I remember it being a kind of a COVID record for me
Yeah.
because I remember I had known Japanese Breakfast from the previous record, which is the something about another planet. No,
Soft Planet. No. Oh wait, no. Along the lines of that.
something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I knew that record and liked a few songs on that. So, when Jubilee came out, it was important to me to listen to the whole thing. And I remember taking a walk to the park and listening to that whole record. Um,
Soft Sounds from Another Planet.
Soft sounds
I just
from
pulled it from my collection.
there you go, cool. But yeah, so it's these albums mean something to me because uh, they either represent a time in my life, they speak to me in some way. They're
Mhm.
records that I would put on and listen to. For so long, I had records in my collection. I was just like, I'm never going to listen to this. Like, why do I even have this? So that's why maybe they seem a little eclectic and all over the place, and they will for however long I do this.
Yeah, I
But
think it's a really cool series.
yeah, thank
I
you.
I think it's fun, and I have a few questions too to piggyback off of because I'm a
Okay,
huge vinyl nerd.
yeah.
But for starters, I think it's cool to see. Braid is one of my favorite bands, so seeing the artists that you
Hmm.
appreciate and listen to the same music you do, it's kind of like cool because it might be a band that might not be your normal,
Hmm.
but they listen to the same stuff you do. So
Sure.
in some way you're connected, which I
Yeah,
think is cool.
that is cool. Yeah, no, I agree. I feel the same way with artists that I like, and sometimes like I'll if an artist I like recommends a record or something, I'll definitely do my best to check that out too, you know. So that might happen eventually with the records I put on.
For starters, I want to go with you're talking about how you didn't have a lot of your records. Are any of the records that we're seeing in Cats and Vinyl still
Uh-huh.
part of like your original collection that they might have skated past your spring cleanouts or
Oh
whatever?
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if we've gotten to any of them though, but definitely there were some I've kept. There's some I did not ever get rid of because, like I said, they really meant something to me. But I don't know if
What's a record you couldn't get rid of or that you might still
yeah.
have?
No, I do have it. There are a few records that I had when I was a kid that I still have. One of them is Culture Club's Colored by Numbers. And I still have the actual, and I think I have it because it was one of the first records that I either bought or was given.
Hmm.
Duran Duran Rio is also one of them. And David Lee Roth, Crazy from the Heat, I
Yeah.
have. Um, so I have a few of those like 80s, like kind of early-ish 80s records that I still have. Like they're the same ones that I had. I never got rid of those. And that's there may be a little outliers because they uh they're not I don't listen to Culture Club like all day
Yeah.
long like I used maybe like or even Duran Duran, but like yeah, so those I keep because they really do mean they're sentimental value for sure.
With getting rid of some records, is there a record that you either bought since you like redid your resurgence of
Yeah.
vinyl, or you like regrettably threw it away or might have given it to someone else?
Yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that's
No,
sensitive.
no, it's not that sensitive. It's just there were a lot
Mhm.
that I wish I would have saved. Like and what's kind of cool is like that something like Discogs exists so that I could, if I really wanted to get it back and have, if it's assuming it's not like super super rare, I could do it. Like there was one I had the Screeching Weasel record that I liked a lot that was called Boogada Boogada Boogada, and
Naturally.
they had it was this record. I don't think it was on Lookout, but it was a record, and I got it one of the times I saw Screeching Weasel, and when they didn't even have it out on CD. When it came out on CD, Ben Weasel, the singer, had retracked some of the vocals. So I put it on. I was like, this is different. This is a different song. I mean, it's the same song, but this is not the version I know. And there was actually a song that was like not on the CD that was on the record, but I'd gotten rid of the record.
Mm,
Those versions were just so superior to the CD versions that I was like, I kind of wish I had that the original one. And like I said, it's I don't even I did look at one point to see how much it was on Discogs, and it wasn't that much. So like
yeah,
it's fine.
fair enough.
Yeah. But that's one I always think of because I remember I sold that on eBay, and I think I got like I might have gotten like $100 for it because it was kind of rare-ish
Hmm.
at the time. So yeah, I must have just needed money or something at the time.
With in recent years too, Braid and Hey Mercedes, you guys have been doing like a lot of like the reissues of your old records and
Mhm.
re-putting them out so they're accessible for everyone. Was that
Yeah.
pretty important to you when you had like that change in mindset that you wanted to go back to physical media? Or did it just kind of work out that way?
It just worked out that way.
Okay,
It just
fair
worked
enough.
out that way.
Yeah.
Because when I, to be fair, like I I don't like I'm not like the biggest fan of just like, oh, and here's the 25th anniversary and here's the 30th. Hey, you got to buy it again because
Hmm.
it's like on a different color vinyl or something like
Yeah.
that. I
Or
mean,
like
like
one
that's
track is half different or
yeah, I don't
yeah.
love it. But it's different. Like when we did like so there, Frame and Canvas came out like on a zillion different colors and there's a picture disc. But then we recently did the remixed version of it that J-Rob like, wait, that's different. That's
For
good.
sure.
Like that's I like that. And for instance, these new Hey Mercedes reissues, like Loses Control had never been reissued and it was way out of print. So like having that back is really, really cool. And I'm happy that Polyvinyl did it. So yeah, I mean I'm really happy that the stuff is now in print and easy for people to get, but it has nothing to do with my sort of renewed interest in vinyl because I don't listen to those records
Yeah.
ever.
That's fair.
Um,
Uh, do you find when you did the framing canvas, like retakes on the songs, do you find it like challenging or weird to do them? Like when you're going into that, like what's your approach for a song to change it?
well, no, we didn't change it. He just Jay Robbins had the original tracks and he
Oh, okay.
remixed it.
Oh, cool, cool,
We
cool.
didn't add I didn't like go in and change anything. Like
Gotcha.
he just you know, turned up a tambourine here and turned up some vocals. Yeah, like he just remixed it.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
When you guys put out Framing Canvas in 98, I believe, right?
Yeah.
98. Did you expect that record to be kind of when I feel like when people are in the scene, when they think of Braid, that's kind of the record that comes to mind right away.
Yeah.
Did you guys expect that record to be like your record?
No. No, because we weren't expecting to break up. I think there's a bit of that aspect of the fact that we put out the record and then broke up the next year. Kind of like an American football effect to an extent, right? So like
Hmm.
we we're gone, but the record sort of rolls on its own, and people more people can hear it. So I think the fact that we broke up gave that record maybe a little more. attention. Um, but yeah, I mean, we had already started writing new songs. Like we 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 just wanted to keep writing songs. Like we would have had another album out probably within a year or two, but we broke up.
When you guys broke up, what caused you guys to come back? Was it just like an anniversary, or you guys still stayed friends? Because you guys still did do like Hey Mercedes, which does consist of a few of the Braid guys.
Yeah, well, the when Braid broke up, yeah, Hey Mercedes started it, which was all of Braid minus Chris. Um, and we do a short tour. Well, it was not short. We did a big tour in 2004. But between 2004 and like 2010, like Chris just kind of I don't want to say Chris disappeared. He didn't. I We just fell out of touch. Like
Mm.
we didn't talk. And then he sort of appeared. He came back. I think he was just doing his own thing, doing his own music. He might have I think he moved out of the state for a little bit, but he came back, and I at the time had started doing this like DJ night at a bar here in Chicago. We're doing like emo DJ night. You know, this is like before that was like a
I was gonna say
thing
that
that
you're
people
the
did.
OG emo night.
I, I guess. I guess. It's funny. Side tangent. I went to like this emo-ish night, DJ night, like probably 5 or 6 years ago in Las Vegas. Like I was there playing a show or something like that, and my friend Mark was hosting like karaoke thing, and then it was going to be like these guys coming in and do like an emo DJ night, and then so when the emo DJ night began, they would start playing a song and everyone would go nuts and start singing along, and I would just be like, I have no clue what this is. I don't know what it is. And I'd be talking to someone and they would start singing it to me, and I'd be like, I don't know what this is. And then I'd be like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, it's My Chemical Romance. I have no clue what this is. And like then there would be like something else and like, oh, this is Taking Back Sunday. I don't know what it is. Everyone loves it. I felt like I was really, really old and really out of place. Anyway, for our DJ night, it was like, Karate, Raina Maria,
Yeah.
Hoover, Fugazi, shit like that, for the oldies. But I was doing this DJ night. He started coming, and then I was like, "Hey, we should do this together. Like, let's make it like Bob and Chris DJ." So he started DJing with me, and then we started hanging out a little bit more, and then we were just like, "Hey, maybe we should want to maybe try and write some songs," and that's how we kind of got back together, and then eventually did the No Coast record, just because we had just reconnected.
That's awesome. And I really do like the No Coast record. A lot of times when bands come back, I feel like it's either like really, really good or it's like ah
Yeah,
like kind of disappointing. But I
sure.
really do like the No Coast record. I think it's
Yeah,
really good.
thanks. Thank you. And it was really important to me, and I think to all of us, to not sound like tired old men trying to like recapture a moment. Um, and that was really important. Like that was kind of why we called it No Coast. Um, and we recorded it with Will Yip, who was
Classic.
like at the time the sort of doing a little more up and coming sort of bands, and we thought, well, this is great. Let's record it with him. And we're going to be on top. It's going to be on top shelf. Like, yeah, we wanted to try as best as possible to not be seen as like the old posers trying to, you know, not break a hip while they're on stage.
With Hey Mercedes, was there like anything that you guys tried to do different or change about the band dynamic in comparison to where Braid was?
No, no, not really, because we were Braid had done so many shows before we'd broken up. And then Hey Mercedes just sort of like took that baton and just did so many shows. So the three of us, Todd, Damon, and I, were pretty well set in our ways when it came to how the band operated, whether that was on tour or like when we practiced or when we recorded. We were just we just had it all down, and we it worked for us. Um, in terms of like the writing of the music, I because we just got back from Japan. We're playing shows this year, so I'm playing some of these songs that we wrote in 2000, 2001. And I think I was a little more um, focused on my vocals. Just with Braid, it was just like play, write a part with everybody. And maybe it's a crazy, crazy part. Write it and then figure out how to sing to it. Whereas for Hey Mercedes, I tried to do a little more together. Like I would write the part, but then I was like, can't like let me sing to this as I write it so that I'm not like really trying to like sing over some crazy part.
I
Yeah,
have a question, and I don't know if it's going to come off offensive, but I'm still going to ask it.
go for it.
With Hey Mercedes, you guys put out two full lengths,
Yeah.
one in '01 and one in '04. Did you guys ever feel, well, I want to start by saying you guys have had like relevance, obviously, in comparison. Like people, sometimes one of my favorite things to do when I do my very minimal research is
Sure.
look on Reddit because I feel like people have the
Oh
realest
God.
opinion on Reddit.
Yeah,
But people say great
probably.
things about Braid and Hey Mercedes all the time. All the time.
So far, you haven't got to the offensive part of
This
this.
isn't, no, it's not really offensive, but did you guys ever feel the need to come out with a new record to stay relevant after all of these years, having only two records in like the early 2000s? Considering you guys are on in June, you guys are playing with Thrice and Jimmy Eat
Yeah.
World to get like these are huge shows. Did you guys
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
feel that need at all?
Um,
And I'm sorry if that was offensive at all.
no, it's not. No, it's not. I do. No, I don't. I don't feel the need to like. I do feel a need to write new music,
Mhm.
and I've started to write new music in it. I don't know whether it's Braid or here Mercedes. We've shared stuff. We've shared things. So there's new music being made in some fashion that I don't want to be solo. I want it to be with the band.
I'm looking
Um,
forward to it.
but
Yeah,
well, thanks.
that's awesome.
But I've never felt like we need a new record out.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, mostly because, like I said, I want to write new songs. I don't think it's important for us to rush out a new record to stay relevant because people still want to hear the old songs,
Mhm.
right? So, you know, it, I would love to be able to throw a new one in here and there, but like at this point, it's like, well, we're cool with maybe relearning an old song that we haven't played so much and play that.
Yeah.
Um, so, so, so I guess the answer is no, but like I do want to write new music.
That's awesome. Were you guys with Hey Mercedes too? Like you were saying, you just got back from your Japan like mini tour.
Yeah.
What prompted you guys to pick Japan to do a little mini thing this year? Because you guys don't, besides the two other shows, you don't have much announced for Hey Mercedes.
No, no, we have the Jimmy Eat World shows. We're going to the UK. Um, there is one other thing that has yet to be announced, but I don't know. It'll get announced at some point.
Yeah.
But it's just one show. Um, Braid went to Japan 2 years ago. Hey Mercedes went to Japan in 2017. Braid went to Japan in 2015. Like
I see the pattern.
there's a group of people in Japan. It's a collective called the Lost Boys, um, that bring American bands there. And the past, like we've been there, I've been there 8 times. And so like we love it there. And thank God there's people there that want to see us play,
Yeah.
right? So
Good excuse.
yeah, so when we're gonna get together and play some shows um this year, um Oh, we did Hamer. We did Best Friends Forever. That was it. We got together. We played Best Friends Forever Fest late last year, and then we knew we wanted to go back to Japan, and then we sort of had just the Jimmy World sort of thing came to us. The UK thing sort of just came to us. People were sort of interested in having us come play. So that's why. Um, but yeah, the Japan thing, we just love it so much. In fact, when Braid was there 2 years ago, I remember having this conversation with like Todd and like saying basically like we should just try and come here every year in March because Todd's a school teacher,
Yeah.
so he's got a spring break as a specific week in March, and that's what we did this past March. Um, so we didn't go the next year, but we waited 2 years and then went. And yeah, it's amazing. It's like I said, we're lucky that people want to see it.
With the UK tour that you guys have going on,
Yeah,
playing with Braid, and it's gonna be Braid and Hey Mercedes.
yeah.
Are you excited for double duty or?
This is the first time we're ever doing that. And so we had to have a big discussion about like, are we comfortable doing that? Like, is Chris cool with it? Is Mike from Hey Mercedes cool with it? Um, because Hey Mercedes has never played Europe. We've been to Japan a few times. We
Oh,
never we
really?
never played Europe. And Braid's played Europe a few times.
Hmm.
So, um, I'm I'm excited. I feel like I have a lot of preparation to do in terms of my conditioning of my body and my voice for those shows. There are only three, which
Yeah.
is good. There's London, Leeds, and Glasgow. Um, but I'm really what I'm most worried about is my voice. And I've been sort of worried about my voice since I started singing. I've been really just it's like I think I lost it once and I was like, well, that's never going to happen again. Or like on our one of our Europe tours, like in 1998, the promoter gave us all pizza before the show, and I had like some pizza, and I remember singing like absolute shit that night, and I was like, okay, I'm never going to eat pizza. Like so, like to this day, I don't eat dairy on tour. Like I'm vegan on tour, basically. Just because that one time it fucked me up. I took some vocal lessons in the year 2000 and uh, not very many. There was just a woman here in Chicago that was offering them, and I think it maybe took like 6 to 10. But there was one time I asked her, I was like, can she recorded each one on like a cassette? And there was one time where I got there, I was like, can we record a session here that I could use to warm up before shows. And so she's like, yeah, of course. So we recorded this thing and this was in the year 2000. I literally used that still the same track I put, now it's on my iPhone
Hmm.
and it was on my iPod for a while, but like it's like 19 minutes long and I do it before every single show. So the point is like the only thing I'm worried about is my voice, but should be okay. Should be okay.
Do you expect to like do like vocal rest at all, or do you try to avoid that if you can?
Well, I try to avoid speaking in general on tour, particularly before shows.
Hmm.
Like I've learned, like especially if you're trying to talk to somebody and there's music playing, like whether it's like a band or something, and you're talking loud or you're forcing your voice a little bit, it's gonna fuck your vocal, mess with your vocal cords a little
Hmm.
bit, and you're gonna hear that when you're singing. Um, so uh, yeah, I mean, before shows, I I don't talk that much. After shows is okay. After shows, I can talk to people, and I do, and I'm happy to. But then the next day, it sort of starts again.
With also on top of the UK tour, you guys are, as of now, have a few festivals. announced. You guys are headlining Quiet Steps and then also Summerfest, which
Oh
I feel
yeah,
I
that's
feel
Braid.
yeah, yeah, for Braid.
Yeah.
I for Summerfest, I feel like it's one of those festivals that's really, really grown in the past few years, and
Hmm.
it looks really cool. Um, what's it like playing those kind of big stages as Braid?
Uh, I think that well, Summerfest we've only done no, actually, Hammer Mercedes did it 1 year, Braid did it 1 year. We're on a smaller stage. We're not on like the
Hmm.
big stage. We're not headlining our stage either. I think the band the Academy is playing after us. They're headlining it. But and then when we played Riot Fest, we haven't played a ton of festivals, but like yeah, it's being on the big stage is a little can be a little strange because we don't use in-ear monitors. I've never used in-ear monitors in my life,
Oh,
so
really?
we still have the actual monitors in front of us. So the sound sometimes is a little different to get used to. Like Hey Mercedes is doing these two shows with Jimmy Eat World in June. These are going to be big venues.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're we're I want to seasoned enough that like if it sounds weird on stage, it's fine. It's gonna sound fine out there. We just understand like you're on a big stage, it's gonna sound weird and boomy. I play with earplugs in. Like it usually kind of it sounds the way I expect it to sound. I'm gonna be able to hear my voice. Hopefully, like it shouldn't be that difficult. But yeah.
This is just more of a comment too, just like with playing that I forgot to mention earlier. Me and
Uh-huh.
my buddy talk about that the Tellus show at least like probably once every few months, just because we go to a ton of shows together.
Uh-huh.
But we always say that like from a technical standpoint and just like being sharp, like you guys are one of the sharpest bands we've heard, at least for Braid. I haven't, honest, truthfully, I haven't seen Hey Mercedes, which I do hope to get
Mm,
to a show this summer.
yeah.
But for Braid at minimum, like you guys are
Yeah.
one of the sharpest. So it's really cool to see that like you can do that and have that sound without using all the fancy equipment and the inner monitors and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I I'm not I'm not going to say we would sound I'm not we might sound better if we had all that stuff. It's just we're old dogs that don't that they're cool with not learning the new tricks basically.
Yeah.
Like and it's we're totally fine with it. Like it's not something we feel like we're behind the curve on some of this stuff.
And then one
But thank
final
you for
thing.
saying that. Like
Yeah, of
we
course.
practice we practice a lot and we have just our ways of I like the Braid and Hey Mercedes like songs are have a lot of breaks in them,
Hmm.
um, which has kind of become our thing. And like I just it's just comes naturally to us when we're writing songs, and so it's important for us to really be tight on that stuff because you know and luckily Damon, our drummer, is like an absolute tank of a beast of a tank that is very tight. I mean, he's like, and he's kind of OCD about it.
Oh,
And like,
really?
yeah, and like he'll admit that as well. But like, so yeah, I mean, he it's got it. He keeps it together.
And
It
then
makes
one,
us stay sharp.
hey, that sometimes you need the main guy, the conductor, to
Oh, he's it.
keep you in
He's
line.
it. He's it.
Finally, too, you are part of a Smiths tribute band with
Yeah.
a member from Saves the Day, which
Yep.
I just saw. I know it's not Chris, but I just saw Chris open up for Thursday.
Oh yeah.
That was really fun. They were
Yeah.
really, really good. But what made you guys, one, come together? We were talking about connections earlier in the
Yeah.
music scene, kind of that collaborative between having a Braid member and Saves
Hmm.
the Day. And then on top of that, what made you guys pick the Smiths to be that band that you guys cover? And I mean, that's a pretty big commitment to learn enough songs to be able to put on a full set.
Yeah, and we have a lot of songs now in our at our in our tool belt. So Rodrigo, who plays bass and saves today, is a very good friend of mine. He lives here in Chicago. He had gotten connected with this other musician, Billy Bungaroth, I believe is how you say his last name. But Billy, he was in a band called J.C. Brooks and the Uptown Sound here in Chicago. He also runs a company called Pure Soul Presents. So, as part of
Oh,
that
okay.
company, he puts on shows. A lot of them are at the City Winery here in Chicago that are kind of like tribute shows, but he does them all over the country. Like, so he's got like this a Stevie Wonder show that happens in LA or something like that, and he's got the like an Amy Winehouse show and so he's this mastermind that puts together these tribute shows basically, and so he knows like just the absolute best musicians in Chicago to like he got him on the horn. Hey,
Hmm.
Rodrigo, can you come play for this Tom Petty show or In
Yeah.
Excess show? Any like Rodrigo is a fucking he's like the best one of the best players bass players I've ever played with. Um, Billy is a big fan of the Smiths, a big fan of Morrissey, and they were talking at some point. I didn't know Billy at all, but I knew Rodrigo, and Billy was like, I kind of want to put together like a Smiths thing. Do you know anyone who might want to do that? And Rodrigo's like, I know the guy, because I had done. I did like a Morrissey sort of cover set once. I think he knew that I was a fan, and so he texted me. He's like, "Hey, would you be interested in maybe playing some Smiths cover songs or whatever?" And I said, "Yeah, that sounds great." And then so yeah, we got together and we did. And the band it's just they're so on top. It sounds so good. It sounds very authentic. It's not easy to play Johnny Marr's guitar parts.
No,
Like
I'm sure it's not.
it's not easy, not much less the bass parts. And the drums seem simple, but yet there's so much nuance to them, and you can't overplay. You got to be in. And our drummer
Hmm.
Charlie is like, he's got it. Perfect. I would be such shit at any of those instruments playing Smith songs. I'm sloppy. Like you talk about being sharp. With Braid, sure. But if I had to learn a Smith song, it'd be bad. However, I know all the lyrics. I can sing them like that. I've got down perfectly. So like, um, we did a show where it was all the Queen is Dead album and then some extra songs, and we played City Winery in Chicago, City Winery in Nashville, City Winery in St. Louis, and then we just started playing a few club shows here, and yeah, we're playing the end of this month at City Winery. We're going to play in June here. We've got a few out of town shows. It's really, really fun. And the thing is that I think that I enjoy about it is despite me being the Morrissey in the band, I'm not like impersonating Morrissey. I'm
Yeah.
not there to um, sing in a British accent and like be like an asshole on stage and rage about whatever he rages about now.
Cancel the show because he's too cold.
Or too tired or
Yeah.
smells meat. I don't know. So like so it's more just like these are the four of us are fans
Hmm.
of it, and we're playing it, and it sounds very very authentic. It's not like we're doing like punk versions of the Smiths. So it's just really fun and satisfying and enjoyable. And I love the songs. The Smith songs are really really good, and the lyrics are just really really good, and the vocal melodies are good. So and I get to be just the front man singing, and so I could do it up a little bit. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's cool that you guys are playing city wineries. We do have a city winery in Philadelphia in case you forget. Just if you guys are ever
We
looking
should
to
do it.
if you guys are ever looking to really outbranch, I would love to see you guys. I'd totally make the trip down for that.
Yeah, maybe.
But
Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe.
but yeah, April 21st, you guys are playing at City Winery in Chicago, and I
Yep.
just want to say there's another thank you too for coming on the show. It
Yeah.
means a ton, and it's very cool to have someone that you it's cool to have people on the show that are like influential for the scene, but it's different when you're a fan of the person you're interviewing. So I
Mm.
appreciate you for coming on a ton.
Oh, thanks, Nick. I'm glad we were able to make it work.
And guys, there'll be a ton of links down below. Like we covered, all my over the pond friends, Braid and Hey Mercedes are coming over for a few shows in London,
Hmm.
Leeds, and Glasgow, and then tons of festivals. I know New York is getting two shows with Thrice and Jimmy Eat World. So yeah, there'll be a ton of links down below. And yeah, till next time. Peace, guys.
Yeah, come on up. Thank you.